Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Raid Shadow Legends. Now, in today's video, you might be wondering, especially if you're a newer player, as you're going through the game and as you're leveling up and getting your characters increased, you might be wondering yourself, what kind of characters should you be focusing on getting to level 60 first? Now, I am lucky that I have now at this point in my account, I have about 4 level 60 characters, but in this video specifically, I do want to talk about who is going to be your best choice for your first level 60. Whether you're a new player or you're a returning player, I think it's really important to understand why you should be prioritizing certain characters over others in order to get yourself up there first, and what kind of value you're going to get out of these specific characters. There's a reason, why there's a specific type of character in Champion that you kind of want to take to level 60 first, and we're going to be talking all about that in today's video. And before we get started with the rest of the video, I do want to remind people that if you haven't started an account on Raid Shadow Legends yet, then you can download the game using the QR code in the top right hand of the screen, or using the link in the description down below to get yourself a free Epic Rector draft alongside some other freebie resources which you'll use. Also, by account level 15, you will get yourself this Ugo, who is one of the best epic characters in Raid Shadow Legends. I am using them every single day on my roster, so don't delay, and they'll definitely help you out in your start. Now, if you're new to Raid Shadow Legends, and especially if you're new within the first couple of weeks on your account, it's really important that you have a single character that is strong enough to be able to carry others in order to farm your campaign map. Now, this is typically going to take the form of, and this is where you're going to get the most amount of experience points. And why are you wanting to farm at all? That's because you need to level up what's called food, or food characters, which are going to be, and I'm going to show you here, it's going to be your characters that are kind of low stars. In this instance, my main farmer, which we're going to be talking about in this video, is going to be Kale, who is the starter character that I personally recommended at the beginning of the start of this channel. Now, I have one of these characters down here. These are characters that you basically need to grind up and you need to level up for the purposes of feeding them into themselves and upgrading their star ranks so that you can take them up to like 4-star and 5-star to be able to get your real characters that you want to get up to higher level. And so you need to max level up them, and then you need to star rank them up. Now, in order to do this, you basically need to go into the campaign. Normally it's 12-3, sorry. So 12-3, whether it's in normal mode, whether it's in hard mode, brutal, or whatever the best one that you can do. Typically, the most amount of experience points that you're going to get for quote-unquote farming is going to be from Chapter 12. Now, a lot of people do Stage 3, so 12-3, on whatever your highest difficulty that you can do is, because shields typically sell more to the vendor, when you're doing all this farming or you're spending a lot of energy doing this. So I just want to show you, for example, I hate that it resets here. So I'm going to take 2 other characters here that I need to level up. And then we're going to show how when I put this on auto, that because of the strength of my Kale character, he can just wave farm on his own. And so this is the ideal scenario, is that your first level 60 character is going to be the character in your roster that can kind of do this, that can basically solo an entire level, you typically through AoE, and a lot of this will depend on the way that you gear them as well. So that you're dedicated campaign farmer, so that you can do this, you can replay, you can level your characters up, get them to level 20 or 30, you rank them up, and then use them as food for your more important characters. So this is a very important part of Raid Shadow Legends, something that you will be doing on a somewhat regular basis, because you do need to grind these characters up, and this is the most effective way to do that. Alternatively, if you are a new player, there is a few ways that you can get your first character up to 60 a little bit quicker. I do want to mention this Apprentice Pass. So this is something that you might have noticed, especially if you started your account, a new account, that you would have this. It would last for 3 weeks, because I think I'm about 2 weeks in as of recording this video. The QR code is a little bit blocking here, but it does say 1 week remaining. 2 weeks into my account, I believe it lasts for 3 weeks. This is a very easy pass for you to clear free to play along the top track, and this will give you a variety of different rewards. And we're going to talk about this one here, because right at level 1 of the Apprentice Pass, you do get a full lifesteal set, which is going to be really important for this farming method that I've been showing you in the first part of the video there, about why you need this. And lifesteal is a very important gear set to do this. We'll talk about that when we take a look at my characters. But I do want to mention that there's a lot of great stuff in this Apprentice Pass, and definitely the best value bang for your buck, because I'm definitely thinking about buying this so that I can get some more chickens And the chickens help you. They basically substitute for doing exactly what I just showed you in the campaign, grinding up. Now, these typically are not, you don't get these for free necessarily. There are some free to play rewards and milestones that do give you some of these, but if you're looking more for 4-star chickens, and then I think further along the track, there's also 5-star chickens, which will really help you get forward to your character to level 60. This pass here, actually, I think has, including the free track, has enough to get you one character all the way to level 60. So this is really important. Now, it is a Rector Drath pass, but you can actually use these chickens for any characters. You don't have to specifically use this for Rector Drath. So I'm actually going to go ahead and buy this pass because I only have a week left remaining on this, and I think there's really great value. For me, it's a 21 Canadian. I believe it might be a 15 US dollar value, but there's a lot of stuff here. As far as bang for your buck, you're going to get a lot of stuff here. You are going to get an extra epic Rector Drath if you already picked that up from the QR code or the link in the description. Of course, you do get 4 epic tomb books, so you can use these on your various epic characters. And a lot of the ascension material that you do get is primarily for these red characters, and but the chickens can be used on anyone, and that's the most important thing here. So I went ahead and purchased the Apprentice Pass, and now I can collect all the stuff. Is there a quick way I can? Nope, I have to collect them all one by one. That's unfortunate, unless I'm missing something. But anyways, the chickens are going to be some of the most important things in here, which is going to be very important for what we're talking about in the rest of the video, which is going to be your first level 60 character, and how I decided what that is. Now, this might depend on the first character that you decided to pick up as your starter character. So me personally, all of the starter characters do have AoE. So they're potentially fine to use as it like funnels all of my stuff that I just picked up into my inventory there. So I decided to go with Kale. And one of the reasons for this is he has a really powerful AoE attack in his skill here with our Acid Rain. But there is a lot of other, and actually what I really like about this attack is that it fills the turn meter of him when he kills people. So he can kind of often take multiple turns back to back when he AoE farm clears like this. But I actually do have the other starter characters here in my roster too. I got kind of lucky with this. So there is Elhain, Athel, and Gallic. So these are the 4 starter characters. I do actually have them all. But Kale is my most powerful one. That's the one I decided to start with. They all have a variety of AoE attacks, so you could use what I'm talking about on your different starter, like whichever one you chose to start with. You can do the exact same thing with any of these. They can be your wave clearer for that as well. It's just for me, I have Kale. So Elhain has this as well, an AoE attack. That's fine too. And also Athel, but I don't know if she's as strong as some of the other characters. Kale is commonly the most recommended starter champion. And then I think Elhain might be the second most. Maybe I got that wrong, but I really am really happy with Kale and what I'm able to do with regards to campaign farming. Now, one of the most important things though is setting up your character to be able to do that. And that's why you can see here that I do have a lifesteal set. I have a 4-piece lifesteal set here, which is really, really important because it heals by 30% of damage dealt. And so when you're wanting to look for a character that can kind of fully wave clear and also sustain themselves so they don't die on these levels so they can solo these missions, it's important that you do have a pretty decent lifesteal set. So for me, this is actually the starter set that I got from the Apprentice Pass. So I'm still using this actually, and yet he's still my most powerful character. Ideally, I would get some better stuff than, this is pretty good, like 5-star and 4-star gear. But when I get later on in the game, obviously I'm going to want to upgrade this stuff to be a little bit better. So Kale is definitely able to do that, and he's able to solo farm. Now, one other character that I do want to mention and kind of recommend as well that you could use as your wave farmer is Alice the Wanderer. So the Alice chase is still going on right now, and she is a very powerful AoE character. And the reason why I like her is because she is able to use the Clockwork Cyclone back to back. That's her AoE skill too. And if she does kill I believe it's on her passive, whenever she kills somebody, it resets her cooldowns once per battle or something like that. And so this is a really powerful wave clear move that she could do that too. But the cooldowns are a little bit higher than Kale's Acid Rain. Also, Kale being a rare champion means that you can book him out pretty easily and you can upgrade his skills. Whereas Alice, I don't have a lot of legendary books. So I'm at level 1 for all of my skills. So this is a little bit more challenging. And so for that reason, I think finding a rare or epic character that can do the same task is probably a lot easier to do and a lot easier to accomplish early on. So this is why I personally recommend doing this with your starter character. And I think it's just a lot simpler to do that. But Alice can probably do this as well. So I just wanted to kind of point that out because the reason why I'm mentioning this is because The Alice chase is ongoing right now. There's a lot of great stuff that comes along this, both in the phase 1 where you get it for free after 7 days of login, but the phase 2, very easy to clear just doing your daily content, and you can get some really great rewards. If I close out my cam box here in the bottom left here, then you can see all these great rewards on the second track on this in the second week, or I guess this would be week 3 here, culminating with a 5 red star. So this is really, really powerful. And I guess that's the other thing too, right? Is that the characters that you can gear up, the only difference is that if you're going to do this with Alice, you have to gear a particular way. You know, like I said, let's bring myself back here. You do have to gear yourself a particular way if you want to wave clear efficiently, and that's going to be largely with the lifesteal set. Later on, you know, there's going to be some future videos about this. This is a very good character here too, Bellower, because every single skill that he has is AoE. And the strategy for him is to use more of a stun set, but that's more kind of advanced, not beginner kind of gameplay. So I don't want to discuss that here in today's video, but this is something when we're going to be tackling even harder content. But I think for new players, I think definitely using your starter character and or using Alice the Wanderer would be very good. Now, in the beginning, of course, you're not necessarily going to be able to do brutal difficulty, which is where I'm farming. So you're going to want to do, you know, the top difficulty that you possibly can. And it's not always going to be chapter 12. If you can't farm chapter 12 because you're not powerful enough, that's okay too. One of the other ones, the sort of the mid chapters that I would recommend is going to be chapter 6, because we talked about the speed artifacts. These are really, really good. And so farming some of these is going to be helpful for your early game as well. So maybe the various different chapters on here, if you want to farm up some speed gear and get some XP at the same time, this isn't that difficult of a chapter to farm. So you're not going to get as much experience as chapter 12, but I do want to point that out anyways. Now, I do want to remind you, for those of you who are very new to Raid Shadow Legends, that you do kind of basically need to build your way up. So luckily, I do have a handful of champions here that I can show you, but especially, you know, when you get to level, actually, I might be able to show you that in level 30 characters, but, you know, when you start off with your starter character, your level cap is going to be 30, and then you need to go to upgrade rank, and then you need to sacrifice 3, not that I'm going to do this here, but you need to sacrifice 3 3-star characters in order to get that character up to level 40. Then you're going to do this again, get them up to level 40, and then you're going to do this. Now, this time I have chickens. So if you bought the apprentice pass, or if you found them through other means, then you can get 4 4-star turkeys, and then that's going to get you up to a level 50 cap. And then finally, I think I have a level 50 character here, and because I bought the apprentice pass as well, you need to use 5 5-star characters or use turkeys to get them up to level 60. So it is a little bit of a grind, but because you're going to be doing a lot of this kind of campaign grinding in order to get your characters leveled up, in order to create more food for your better characters, that is really, really important that you get a solid character to level 60 first before you think about anything else. And that's why I personally believe, why we need to go back to the champion screen here, but why you need to consider AoE type characters that are going to allow you to be able to do this a lot more efficiently. So that's going to be the end of my video, everyone. I hope that this was helpful. If it was, please consider subscribing to the channel so that I can make more content like this. If you do have any suggestions of videos that I could do, feel free to leave that in the comments down below as well. And also, don't forget that if you haven't yet, please download using the QR code in the top right hand of the screen, or in the description down below. There is a link to get you started on Raid Shadow Legends if you haven't yet already. And of course, that will get you an Epic Rector draft, some freebie resources, and of course, Ugo, who is going to be available, as you can see, as he was at the top of my roster here. One of the best epic champions in Raid Shadow Legends is one of my top 60 characters. So that's going to be the end of this video, everyone. And of course, until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.